Hello Year 3 and welcome to our maths lessons for this week. Last week we looked at fractions. This week we're going to move on and we're going to be looking at geometry. But before we do that, we're going to have a look at our mental maths and practice adding tens to numbers with up to 3 digits. Now you can see on the screen we've got some different words which mean add. We've got add, more, plus, increase, total, sum, and all together. And all of those words can mean adding numbers together. So, moving on. Can I add tens to numbers with 3 digits? Last week we were looking at adding and subtracting hundreds to numbers with 3 digits, but let's today have a look at tens. So, what number have I got showing on the screen? Well, let's have a look. We've got 4 ones. We've got 2, 3, 4, 5 tens and 3 hundreds. So, if I add another 10 to that number, looking at our question over here, if I add another 10 to it, you can see we've still got 300. The 5 has now become 6, and we've still got 4 ones. So which of the digits is changing? That's right, it's the tens digit that changes when we're adding tens to a number. So let's have a look. If we've got 354 and we add 10, we get 364. 354 add 20, well, we've got 5 tens plus 2 tens, which gives us 7 tens. So our answer is going to be 374. And so let's show that up here as well. So we've now got not 6 tens, but 7 tens. And then if we look at the next question, 354 plus 30, well, we've got 5 tens and 3 tens. So going back to here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tens. And then if we add 3 more tens, we've got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tens. So you can see that when we add the tens, the change happens in the tens column. The ones digit stays the same, and the hundreds digit will usually stay the same. Sometimes when you get to 9 tens, well, 10 tens you know is 100, so that will make another 100. Anyway, to be successful with this today, you need to be using your knowledge of number bonds within 10. You need to use your place value knowledge, and if you need to, you can use some jottings to help you calculate. So we've got 3 levels of challenge: yellow, green, and blue. Choose which one you want to try, pause the video and have a go. That's great. Okay, so let's have a look now, and then you can check your answers and see how you got on. Great job. Now today, I mentioned we're going to go on to look at geometry, and today we're going to think about quarter, half and 3/4 turns. So today, to be successful, we need to use our knowledge of fractions. We need to know that a turn means a change of direction. And we're going to know the meaning of clockwise and anti-clockwise. So, a quarter turn Well, we've been looking at fractions, so we know that this picture here, this diagram, shows 1/4 of the circle shaded. So if I move my pointer to there, that pointer has made a 1/4 turn. On the second diagram here, we've got a half of the circle is shaded, and a half turn is halfway around the circle. The next one, a 3/4 turn, well, you can see that 3/4 of the circle is shaded, so I can move my pointer 3/4 of the way around, and that's a 3/4 turn. And then finally, we've got a full turn, which means that the pointer goes all the way around and back to where it started. And that is a full turn. So we're going to watch a short clip now, which shows this with some more examples.
Here is a car. We will turn it 1/4 of a turn in this direction. It is in line with the first grid line. It is facing to the right. This is a 1/4 turn. It has shaded in 1/4 of the circle. Now we will turn the car 1/2 a turn. It will be facing the opposite direction. It has turned halfway around. It has turned through half of the circle, or 2 1/4 turns. We will now carry out a 3/4 turn. The car moves past the halfway point to face the third of our 1/4 turn lines. This is 3/4 of a full turn. Here we will carry out a full turn. In a full turn, the car is back to where it started. It has turned through all 4 quarters.
Okay, so let's go back to lesson. The first task for today is looking at shapes and seeing their turns. So if you want to pause the video and do task 1, you can do, or you can wait until I've explained all the tasks before you go off and do them. So we've mentioned clockwise and anti-clockwise, and they're talking about turning. So which direction is clockwise and which direction is anti-clockwise? Well, it's quite simple to remember, because if you think about a clock and think away about the direction that the hands turn on a clock, or that the numbers go on a clock, we could say that if we go this way, that is clockwise. And anti means it's going against. So if we're going against the clockwise, we're going backwards around the clock, counting the numbers back, 12, 11, 10, and that is anti-clockwise. So if the turn is the same direction as the hands of the clock, it's clockwise. If the turn is in the opposite direction to the hands of a clock, it is anti-clockwise. So now we're going to do a bit of movement. So I'd like you to stand up and have a go at practicing some of these turns. So imagine that you're standing in the center of a clock, and imagine that you are facing number 12 on the clock. So can you now make a full turn clockwise. Well done, that's it. What do you notice? Where have you finished? Well, you finished where you began, haven't you? You're facing the same direction where you started after doing a full turn clockwise. Now I'm going to ask you to make a full turn anti-clockwise, and that will be to your left. So you need to make a full turn anti-clockwise, and you should finish off facing the way you started again. So a full turn will always bring you back to your start position. Right, don't sit down, stay up. This time I want you to make a half turn, but you need to listen carefully because I would like you to make a half turn anti-clockwise. And where have you finished this time? That's right, you're facing the opposite direction to that which you started. Okay, go back to facing the front again to imaginary 12, and then I'd like you to make a half turn clockwise. And where have you finished? Well, you've finished facing in the opposite direction as well. So when we do a half turn, whether we go anti-clockwise or clockwise, we still finish facing the opposite direction. Now then, let's see if we can make a quarter turn. This time I'm going to ask you to make a quarter turn clockwise. And can you tell me which number on your imaginary clock you're facing now? That's right, you should be facing the imaginary number 3 on your clock. And if I ask you to make another quarter turn clockwise, what number on your imaginary clock are you facing now? That's right, that will be facing the number 6. And if you were now to make a quarter turn anti-clockwise, what number would you get back to then? That's it, you'd be back facing number 3. And to get back to the 12, I think we need to do another quarter turn. Which direction? Is it going to be clockwise or anti-clockwise? That's right, we need to go anti-clockwise if we're going to do a quarter turn from 3 to 12. Okay, can you guess what's coming next? Right, we're going to try a 3/4 turn. So I would like you to stand up and face your imaginary number 12 and then make a 3/4 turn anti-clockwise. What number have you finished facing on your imaginary clock? That's right, you should all be facing where number 3 would be, over here. Then if you make a 3/4 turn clockwise, starting from the 3, where have you finished? Well, a 3/4 turn is going to take you all the way back around here to finish facing the 12 on your imaginary clock. Okay, so your second task today is questions involving turning clockwise and anti-clockwise, and some of the sheets have got the pictures on to remind you. You can see we've got the green task over here with a compass. Alicia is facing north. She turns a quarter turn clockwise. Which direction is she facing now? We've got the pictures at the top here to help you remember which way is clockwise and anti-clockwise. We've got the yellow task with similar questions showing the half turn, quarter turn, and clockwise and anti-clockwise. And the blue questions are on the compass, questions about the compass, and they are there as well. So you might want to pause the video now to do task 2. Otherwise, you might just want to listen to task 3 and then move on and do all the tasks at the end. So task 3 today is a problem. So you need to have a look at the problem. It says the arrow on the spinner started in this position. After making a turn, it ended in this position. And then Jack is saying the arrow has moved a quarter turn anti-clockwise, and then Alex is saying something different. And you have to say who you agree with. And then if you're doing the blue group questions, then there's a second one for you to do involving Mo and Eva talking about Mr. Lee, their teacher, turning in the classroom. Okay, so see how you get on with those. See how you get on with those, and don't forget to send in your work by 3:30 if you can, and then tomorrow's lesson you'll be able to look at from 5 o'clock today to prepare anything that you might need. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.